Tonight, Killeen City Council members are holding a public special meeting to vote on removing public comment time at meetings for issues that are not on the agenda.
So, you want to take away our right to speak about non-agenda items because we can't get anything on the agenda.
My city council put this on there to take away my right as an American to speak. You want to take away anybody's voice because it makes you uncomfortable? Because we don't agree with you, Madam Mayor, because you disrespect by not even acknowledging somebody sitting up here talking to you. You want to play with everything else up there. That's why I wish there was a split screen up here. I wish there was a split screen up here so that way anybody online can see you and how you disrespect those that are up here when we were speaking on these items. They're right here.
You won't meet with us in person? How many times have I stood right here and said, we can go in that little conference room over there. We can have an honest, intellectual, adult back and forth. You refuse to do it. You don't answer emails. You don't like what I have to say. I don't care. I have the right to say it. So does everybody else who gets up here. They have that right, whether I agree with them or disagree with them. That is a God-given right.
So I am the mayor, and I do take a lot of attacks up here. And the reason I don't speak on non-agenda items is not that I'm weak, that I'm afraid, but that is beneath me.
All right, well, tempers flared at last night's city council meeting in Killeen. Council members voted unanimously to remove public comments at meetings for issues that are not on the agenda.
Good morning. If you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen. That is the sentiment that the residents of Killeen have towards their own elected officials. They've essentially now been muted.
For the citizens who take the time to speak at city council meetings, these gatherings are very important. You're able to voice your concerns and opinions. You can influence local policy. You can stay informed, and you're representing your community. And most importantly, you are holding officials accountable. You can be an advocate for change. You are engaging in the civic life, and you're looking to improve what's happening in your community. The problem is with this mayor, there's some stipulations that she wants you to follow if you live in Killeen, Texas. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here with Debbie Nash King, the mayor of Killeen, Texas, and she's been accused of trying to destroy the First Amendment. Let's get into it. So guys, I do not have my camera. I am not at home, but I needed to talk about this situation because it's deep with a lot of corruption. I want to talk about this city council. In an unanimous decision, voted to limit public comments at meetings to only those issues on the agenda. The decision followed incidents with the mayor, Debbie Nash King, and other council members felt like they were being insulted by the residents.
It's just personal attacks. We're hearing a lot of this that has nothing to do with anything. And it's like, I don't like the mayor, and somebody, put $1 up, that's very disrespectful. That has nothing to do with why we're there.
The council says that aiming to balance the freedom of speech with maintaining order and respect in meetings. The decision was made after a closed meeting with legal advice to ensure it didn't clash with freedom of speech rights. So they made this big decision, and they all agreed 7-0 to change how public comments work in their meetings. Now, people can only talk about the things that are already on the meeting's agenda. This change happened because some of the criticism they were receiving by the residents. They complain about the residents making unfounded accusations and threats.
And I do take a lot of attacks up here. It's not that I did anything wrong. And I told the council about the non-agenda item. When I was attacked, I told the council prior to that attack that closer to election, the non-agenda item will be used as an attack against me. And this was months ago, that get ready, that I will be attacked. And some of the things that you heard that came from non-agenda items that may be on Facebook, maybe in the newspaper, maybe out there anywhere. I just want you to hear from me. It's not true.
And they were being really mean to the council members. But there are also people that believe this is just here to silence the citizens. So put in the comments below if you believe that this is an attempt to silence the citizens. And I'm going to give you my opinion right now. I definitely think it is. The problem is that Debbie Nash King has become extremely sensitive to criticism. And it seems like she's trying to find ways to maintain as much control as possible. These type of decisions to limit the speech of the people that she's serving is a terrible idea. And it's going to lead to several problems. First off, Reduce transparency. When speech is limited, it can create a perception that the government or officials are just not being transparent. People might think important issues are being hidden or ignored. And I will tell you right now, some of the information I have received, and I'll be talking about this in another video, that there are some important issues that are purposely being hidden, purposely being ignored. Let's go on to the next one. Just community frustration. When you are not able to speak and able to tell what's going on in your community, citizens will feel frustrated and unheard. This can lead to a sense of disconnect between the community and their leaders, which again is currently happening in Killeen, Texas.
Trying to figure out which of our constitutional rights any of you respect. You're taking away these citizen comments because you don't want us talking about conversations at a newspaper. You don't want us holding you accountable for things that you've done outside of these chambers. You're a tyrant, Mayor, and people are calling you a tyrant. You're a tyrant, City Manager Cagle, and you don't want people to tell you that you're a tyrant. I get it. You got weak skins. You're cowards. You can't face the people that you represent. And by getting rid of these citizen comments, you don't have to sit here and listen to that. Like every other city that has no problem listening to citizens coming up there and saying what a bad job their city council's doing.
Number 3, potential for censorship, which seems like what's happening. Limiting speech can be seen as a form of censorship, which might lead to accusations of violating free speech rights. Now, these council members said that they contacted legal counsel to see if this actually is a good idea. It's weird. I don't know what kind of lawyers they have, but of course this is a problem, and this can be considered a form of censorship. Another thing, decrease public engagement, which maybe this is what they want. If the residents feel that they can't express their concerns or opinions, they might lose interest in participating in public affairs. I mean, what's the point if they're not able to express themselves freely? Limiting speech can and will erode trust between the public and their elected officials. People might start to doubt the intentions and actions of their leaders. And again, as I've seen some information already out, that they may have a good reason not to trust this group of politicians. I mean, think about it. Imagine a pressure cooker. I'm thinking about pressure cookers right now because I'm kind of hungry. But they're designed to cook food quickly under high pressure. There's a safety valve on top that lets out steam to prevent the cooker from exploding. Now think about this in terms of public speech as a steam and the government as the pressure cooker. When you allow free speech, it's like letting the steam safely through the valve. People are able to communicate, they're able to express themselves, they're able to bring out the things that are bothering them. The government can help, theoretically, can help fix those problems. But they don't know those problems unless the residents say something. And it may not always fit in the agenda. It may not be their agenda. It may not be something that these politicians are thinking about. But the problem is when you don't allow that steam to go through that valve, if you block the valve, limiting speech, the pressure builds up. And eventually, the cooker might explode. Now, I understand that some of the residents had a lot of passion and they were pretty provocative. But you signed up to be a mayor. You signed up to be a councilwoman or a councilman. You have to understand with the job, you must take the heat. That's why you're there. Or why you're there in the first place if you can't handle the heat. Limited speech is a short-term solution. You may want to maintain order and decorum. You want to enhance productivity by only talking about the things that you want to talk about. Or reduce some of the personal attacks that you guys consider to be personal attacks and focusing on some of the issues that you want to focus on. The problem is that none of this is actually really happening. They are just trying to hide some of the issues that they are involved in. Because when you eliminate non-agenda items from city council meetings, you're destroying the community voice. You're destroying transparency and accountability. You are eliminating all different types of perspectives that can help the community. And this limits the ability for the government to respond in the right way. Because certain non-agenda items are not being talked about, it just appears to me that Mayor Debbie Nash's decision to eliminate public comments on non-agenda items at city council meetings is just her being sensitive to criticism. I mean, think about what she said in this clip right here.
Anywhere. I just want you to hear from me. It's not true. And the reason I don't speak on non-agenda items is not that I'm weak, that I'm afraid, but that is beneath me.
It seems like the mayor is perceiving that non-agenda public comments that are criticisms to her administration is personal attacks. And she's caring about being close to elections, and she thinks that's the most important thing to think about. Not to try to help understand why some of these people are upset, what's going on, and how can she fix the problem. I thought that's what people in government are supposed to do. I know I'm being sarcastic in this one, but I'm just saying, this mayor has put on a defensive stance, and she wants to maximize control over these meetings. These meetings are not making her look good. So this is why she's behaving in the way that she is. The idea that non-agenda matters are beneath. She cares more about the structured agenda items over spontaneous public input. So really, she's dismissing any concerns people have, especially if they're not scheduled, if they're not on the agenda. Does she care about the citizens' concerns? Does she care about open communication? Does she care about not looking like a censorship type of government? It just doesn't seem that way. And the big problem is that there are some secret recordings that she is colluding with the media. And we're going to talk about this more in another video. But it looks like there is some severe corruption in this administration. And this mayor is trying to shut it down. We'll talk about this more in a later video. But what do you guys think? Put in the comments below. Do you think this is a good idea? Should only the agenda items should be spoken about? Should citizens should be limited on what they can talk about when it comes to these type of city council meetings? Put in the comments below. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and I see you guys in the next video.